BTB listeners, thank you so much for checking out today's episode. Listen, if this episode inspires you, do me a favor, take 5 seconds to shoot me a like and subscribe to the podcast. There are several more exciting guests that are in the pipeline, and I just can't thank you enough for your continued support, and let's keep paying the mission forward. In today's episode, I'm sharing the story of the BTB Project. When I was growing up, I was given the name Big Teddy Bear. And knowing how much that hurt me growing up, being overweight, suffering with depression and anxiety, not feeling like I fit in socially, it was one of the most challenging parts of my life. Fast forward to several years later, able to lose 100 pounds, accomplishing my goal of playing Division I college tennis, being able to change my life. I was able to, after college, start a business called Built to Be Tennis and Fitness, BTB. That acronym that used to hurt me growing up now has become an open-ended question that has helped thousands of inspiring athletes become the strongest version of themselves. What are you built to be? What are you built to become? Through that open-ended question, it has birthed the mission of the BTB Project and this podcast. I hope that this story is an inspiration to you.
Don't be afraid of the dark. Be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you, baby.
Welcome to the BTB Project, designed to empower listeners to identify their why and to live their best lives no matter the circumstances. My name is Kollman Gearhart. A former athlete and motivational coach, I've had the opportunity to inspire thousands through my story and help accomplish what they are built to be. You'll be encouraged by each and every episode, and let's get into it.
Yeah, when I blow up, I'ma soar high like Peter Pan. In real life, be living out my dreams. If I'm waking up, it's in a foreign land.
Have you ever wondered what it truly means to defy the odds? To rise above the darkest of circumstances and to uncover the wavering strength that resides within you? Today, I share a story that dives deep into the very essence of our shared human experience. In a world often filled with obstacles and challenges, it's critical that we discover what we are truly built to be. The truth is, BTB is an acronym of a nickname that I got growing up, and that was Big Teddy Bear, BTB. And I hated being called Big Teddy Bear. Caused a lot of insecurity, self-doubt, and things that didn't help me in my childhood. Now, I was heavy set. I was bigger for my age, and people wanted to point the finger and poke fun rather than truly knowing what was going on the inside. Now, imagine for a moment a dimly lit room, heavy with shattered dreams and lost promises. In one corner of this somber space stands a child, trembling with fear and desperation. Tears are coming down his face as he pleads with all of his heart, "Mom, Mom, wake up!" As he's shaking her on the ground. He's putting his ear up to her mouth to make sure that she's still breathing. You see, the mother was drunk and she was passed out on the floor after consuming 2.5 liters of wine and barely breathing. She's led this life most of her life, and today just happened to be another day. She started drinking when she was 12 years old and could never stop. The child who's checking her breath was me. And my journey from that abyss of darkness to the radiant beacon of hope was anything but easy. I took my mom to her first rehab when I was 16 years old. I'll never forget it. She was fighting me for several minutes. And I said, Mom, either you go to that rehab or I go. The choice is yours. And she decided after resistance to get in the car and go to rehab. And at that point, my dad and my brother were so broken by her addiction that they decided to leave and go to a safer place. But over the next 4 years, I was the primary contact for my mother while she was in and out of 4 rehabs. And I heard everything that she had to share with me, all of the ins and outs, the trials and tribulations that no teenager should ever have to hear. This is a story of resilience, transformation, and then yielding spirit that resides in each and every one of us. But let's rewind to a pivotal moment in my life, a moment when I was just 14 years old, teetering on the precipice of despair. I was broken, depressed. My mom told me I was just too fat to get a homecoming date, and I decided to go on a run. And I ran in shoes that were 2 sizes too big, and I ran literally to try to make my heart stop. I wanted to take my own life. And it was when I passed out in a field and 15 miles later that I woke up and realized I wanted to change my life. And adversity had pushed me to the brink. And I hope it just felt like it was a distant memory at this point. And the journey from that abyss of darkness to this radiant beacon of hope was far from easy. It was filled with trials and tribulations, moments that tested the very essence of my well-being. Yet it was also a journey that revealed a resiliency within me that I never knew existed. Today, I come to you as a seasoned coach and a mentor over 20 years, where I have walked the path etched in pain, adversity, and relentless determination. This is a story of growing up in a relentless shadow of addiction, a story of battles fought and resilience honed, a story that has been the compass guiding my mission to impact lives. Now, let me ask you a question that resonates with each and every one of us. What are you built to be? What are you built to become? This is the very question I ask anyone that I help, both on and off the playing field. It's a question that sparks curiosity, excitement, and goal setting, something that I've been passionate about my entire life. I share this story not to seek sympathy, but to underscore a universal truth. Adversity is a shared human experience, a thread that weaves through the tapestry of our lives. It's an integral part of our journey, and it's how we respond to these challenges that truly define who we are. When I aspired to play college tennis, I approached my high school counselor because I knew I had to have good grades to get into college. I asked her for guidance, but at that moment, I had failed math 3 times, and my counselor told me, in all honesty, Kollman, you might not be able to graduate high school. She said my grades were too poor and that I wasn't good enough. It absolutely crushed me. I walked out of her office in tears. I was already dealing with depression and insecurity doomed to my home life, and this felt like a breaking point. But just as I was leaving her office, someone grabbed me by the shoulder and pulled me into their office. She wasn't my main counselor, but she saw that I was upset and she simply asked, "How can I help?" And hearing those 4 words come out of her mouth meant the world to me because I never had anybody truly ask how they could help. It was in that moment that it provided a spark that changed my life forever. My high school coach told me that I couldn't play college tennis because I was too overweight, wasn't skilled enough, wasn't going to be able to do it. When I visited schools about playing college tennis, most coaches told me my ranking wasn't high enough, that I was out of shape, and that I wouldn't achieve my goal. It seemed like everybody was against me. Challenges just weren't limited to the external world. I had an older brother, and in his own way, he pushed me to my limits. He outperformed me in every sport. And his tough love, though most of the time well intentioned, often led me burdened. His words echoed in my mind as I dared to dream of playing Division I college tennis. And it felt like not just him, but the whole world was skeptical of my aspirations. But before starting my college journey, I decided to take a gap year, take a year off from school, and I decided to go to a tennis academy. And this test would push me to my core. For 13 months, I found myself in Litchfield Park, Arizona, where luxury wasn't part of the package. I lived in a rundown, abandoned women's shelter just outside of the resort because I couldn't afford to stay at the resort. My bed was nothing more than a mattress on the floor, with unwanted cockroaches becoming my nightly companions. I survived on a mere 1,300 calories a day to aid with my weight loss, enduring the scorching heat of Arizona for 6 to 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. Through that unwavering dedication, I transformed not just my physical self, but also cultivated a resilience that would propel me to the next level. At that point, I was able to walk on and fulfill my dream of Division I college tennis. Instead of receiving scholarships, I was taking scholarships from players who were much better than me just a year prior. A part of me wanted to prove people wrong, but another part of me wanted to push myself in a way that I knew I was giving everything I had. That led to a successful college playing career, winning multiple tournaments and matches and helping lead a team. Things were going pretty smoothly in my life until one day I received a phone call while I was home from spring break during my sophomore year. My mom wasn't home. She just got released from her fourth rehab, and something didn't seem right. The call was from a local hospital asking for my mom's next of kin. At the time, I didn't know what next of kin even meant. I called the number back, and it was a nurse that answered, saying I need to get to the hospital immediately. It was in that moment I saw my mom. She had had a medical emergency that stopped her heart, leaving her without oxygen to the brain for over 40 minutes. The paramedics and doctors were prepping to pronounce her dead, but she took her next breath before they did. After being put on a ventilator and life support, several tests were conducted, determining that my mom was clinically brain dead. From there, I had to make a heart-wrenching decision to remove life support because my mom always trusted me with some of the most important parts of her life. She had made it clear she never wanted to be kept on a ventilator to stay alive. So through the doctors and my dad and my brother, we decided to pull life support. And 3 days later, I got to spend one last moment with my mom. Although she was in a vegetative state, I was able to put my forehead on hers, touching her face. It was very hard for me to be affectionate with my mom growing up because of all the hurt and pain that she put me through. But in that moment, I told her I loved her. And I recited a Bible verse, Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And in that moment, my mom, against all medical odds, opened up her eyes and started crying. She mumbled the words, go help people. And it was in that moment I knew I had a life calling and a greater purpose than just being a college tennis player. Yet my journey was far from over, as it had more challenges in store for me. In my senior year of college, a new obstacle emerged, a debilitating back injury. It started as a persistent ache and then gradually intensified into excruciating pain that seemed never ending. Desperation led me to an MRI, and what it revealed was a spine chilling tumor that was growing on my spinal cord. The journey that followed was full of trial and tribulation. I had surgery to remove the tumor, and through complications, I lost controls of my bowel and bladder, having to wear adult diapers while I was finishing grad school, and I had to relearn how to walk. I was faced with a level of adversity that seemed insurmountable. Nerve damage that caused paralysis in my left foot, of which still affects me today. The road ahead was an unyielding torment. However, it was during this tumultuous chapter that I unearthed my true calling: coaching. I yearned to help others unleash their potential, just like I had. Through coaching, I bore witness to astounding transformations in individuals and teams. It became abundantly clear to me that the power of mentorship and support transcends limits. As I embark on my coaching journey after college, I was fueled by a burning desire to make a difference in the lives of others. I wanted to be a coach who was inspirational, encouraging, and motivating, someone that could show people that impossible is nothing. My journey led me to become a high school tennis coach, where I had the privilege of coaching several teams to tremendous success in Colorado high school tennis. I also helped numerous individuals achieve their dreams, guiding them to win state championships and even developing programs for them to become college tennis players. But it wasn't just about tennis. Through coaching, I helped people lose weight, battle depression and anxiety, and to find a strength to perseverance when life got tough. Everything I had experienced, all the negative circumstances, I transformed into a positive force in my life. To this day, the thank you cards, the wedding announcements, the phone calls, and birthday wishes from former clients, this is what continues to inspire me. Recently, I launched a podcast called the BTB Project, which is a culmination of stories and interviews that reflect the mission that I've been on my entire life. And it's not only listeners that just listen in the United States, but there are listeners in over 20 different countries. The BTB Project is my calling, and the purpose of sharing my story today is to encourage you to find your calling, your why. Your why has the power to overcome anyhow. And it's through this that can make a lasting impact in the world. Beyond my success with the BTB Project, family has played an indispensable role in my journey. Celebrating 13 years of marriage and embracing fatherhood with 3 children has taught me the irreplaceable value of support in a family environment. Nurturing relationships during the darkest hours became instrumental in my personal growth. So, for you listening, as you bring this turbulent journey to full circle, remember this: life will test you time and time again. It will hurl adversity your way in an unrelenting force. But your past doesn't etch your destiny. It's how you respond to those adversities that forge your character. Now let's transform for a moment into something raw, powerful, and authentic. I invite each and every one of you to contemplate a challenge or adversity that you have faced in your life, a mountain that seemed insurmountable. Hold this in your heart. You are built to be resilient. You are built to overcome. You are built to inspire and to encourage and to do things that you never thought you could do. Thank you for allowing me to unveil my raw and authentic story before you today. May you leave this conversation inspired but armed with the unwavering conviction and your extraordinary potential as you embark on your own built to be journey. Remember, impossible is nothing.